look up flights right now. Week 5 versus the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, and you might be saying why. Well, it's because I don't really think there's much of a chance for us in this game. I think the Tennessee Titans are one of the better teams, obviously, in the AFC. They've shown that over the last few years. They did lose Corey Davis, but they have not regressed that much. And unfortunately, the Titans have had our number. I think we've beaten them 2 times in the last 4 years. It has not been a good game, a good opportunity for a win for the Jaguars. Jacksonville, week 5 at home versus the Titans. This is a game that I would love to see us win just because of who we're playing. But ultimately, did we get better defensively? Yes. But I think Derrick Henry still has a field day here, Jacob. What do you think?
Yes, we have always said this about the Titans. Until we beat them, we're not going to project or predict that we beat them, even if it's at home. This is a very solid running back, very great running back. I don't know why I said solid. That's very much undervaluing Derrick Henry. And they have a lot of the same pieces they've had year to year to just kind of run it down our throat, keep Trevor off the field. Not that I'm saying he's going to be a huge threat. Hopefully he is. Until we beat them, I'm not going to predict that we beat them.
Yeah, I'm going to take a loss here. We'll go 3-2 through the first 5 games. I'd love to see us win that game, like I said, but I just don't see it happening. We travel across the pond going into London. Meet me at the London. We play Miami Dolphins in London, 9:30 a.m. Wake up, drink your tea and crumpets. Get some crumpets. It's London time. It's tea time. And it is October 17th. So it's middle of October. Seems about right for a Jacksonville London game for like the 8th year in the last 9 seasons. Thanks, COVID, for keeping us in Jacksonville. So we go to Miami. Miami feels a lot like the Titans in the fact that they have had our number for the longest time. They kind of like skunked us last year. I think it was like 35-10. They just absolutely destroyed us last year. It wasn't even fun to watch at all. But we're in London, so I think Jacksonville. What'd you say, Jacob?
I said we had fun. We didn't even realize what the game was like, what the score was. But
that's right. Yeah, we did. We were there in a physical capacity. Mentally, I don't know where we were, but physically, we were at the stadium.
Anyone was in a mental capacity for that game. That was awful.
It was just so bad.
We thought we were pretty decent. Oh my god.
Yeah, we had just beat the Colts week 1, and then that game was like week 3, and we were like, "Yo, if we can win this one, it turned the season around." And then we
played the Titans well. That was the thing, is we lost. We won a game, we lost a good game, and then just demolished by what we thought was a bad team. They ended up being good.
I tailgated y'all that game that ended up at Strings that night.
Yeah. Maybe we should have been at Strings too. That was wild. So Dolphins, I think the only obvious benefit we have here is it being in London. I think we do play decent in London at times. Again, I'm literally beating around a burning bush. Like, we're a dumpster fire at times, but we play well there sometimes. I think we had a really good game against the Ravens in London, I think 4 or 5 years ago. That was a fun one for us. But this is a tough game for me to predict. Like, this is one of those games. This is the first game on the schedule that I think we should win, that we will lose, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to say that we've played in London so many times that a lot of people might think, oh, the Jags have experience traveling over to London and playing in London. But guess what? Completely new team, completely new regime. In my opinion, this is like the first time most of these guys, if not all these guys, are going to London. So that advantage that we used to have, I felt, out the window. Miami's a very good defense. They were a 10-win team. They just got, Jalen Waddle. Of anybody to add to a 10-win team, we got to play with Jalen Waddle now. So I personally am going to say we lose this game. I hope we keep it competitive. But with the traveling and a young team and a new coach and a college coach, I just don't think we beat Miami overseas.
Yeah, I think this is a loss too. And I think, honestly, it's pretty easy for me to predict this as a loss. And I don't think it's an embarrassing loss either. Miami's a good team. And if Tua shows up this year and has that kind of like sophomore turn, I think Miami could be a very dangerous team. I think Brian Flores is a fantastic coach, and I wish Zach was here to give us some Dolphins news as far as their schedule goes. But I think the Dolphins are in for a nice year. this year. So we're 3-3 through 6 going into the bye week. Jacob, do you take that 3-3? You take that as a Jags fan going into the bye?
Absolutely, because I feel somehow our stupid, crazy Jaguar 11 minds every year predict something like this. But this actually feels like it has a much better potential of happening. It's all because of the one position, and that's the quarterback. We predicted something like this potentially with Gardner. We thought Gardner was going to be great for us, and that kind of fizzled out. But, I mean, that's what kind of makes a prediction like this, and it's not even a crazy prediction. We're saying we're going to go 500. That's not even like, that crazy or exciting, but I feel like it's very possible because we have the potential franchise QB in place.
Yeah, not crazy or anything, but 3 times the amount of wins in 6 games as we did in 16 games
that's wild.
The previous year. So think about it that way. Matt, what do you think? Jags 500 at the bye week? Is that pretty acceptable, realistic?
Yeah, I think it's pretty acceptable comparing what you guys went through last year. Only going 1 win, so you're already progressing going into the season. So I think you got to be happy going 3-3. Going to the heart of the schedule.
Yeah, we're pretty much going into November still playing meaningful football, which the last time that happened in Jacksonville was 2017. We fizzled out in 2018 and 2019 and 2020, well before meaningful football was happening in November for us. But we got a challenging stretch coming up. In my opinion, I say these Titans, Dolphins, plus these next 3 might be the turning point for the season in a good or bad way. We come out of the bye week and masks off. It's Halloween in Seattle. We are playing at Seattle. 4:05 game, 1 o'clock West Coast time, but still a 4 o'clock game for us. So that'll be a nice little pre-Halloween party treat for us. I think unless Moses parts the Red Sea or whatever he did, I don't think there's any chance for us here. I think the Seahawks are an extremely dominant team. I think DK Metcalf is going to be the most physical specimen on the field, which he is in most games. He will probably go, I would say, for 200 yards in this game and 2 touchdowns. And unless Russell Wilson leaves Seattle in a shocking turn of events, I think Seattle handles us. I just have glimpses of the Gus Bradley-led Jacksonville Jaguars back in 2015 losing. I think it was 48-3 in Seattle. I don't think we hold a candle to this one, and I think it's a pretty lame duck game for us. Sorry, Jags fans, to tell you, but I'm not too high on this game. Jacob, what about you?
I mean, I double down on what you just said. It's amazing that to have a bye week and then do a West Coast trip, that totally is in our benefit to have the bye week right before a West Coast trip. But it's like we're playing Russell Wilson. We're not playing, even LA. I would have been that might be good. We might have a little extra juice. It's Russell Wilson. If we're going to get in a shootout with anybody, he's going to be the one to win it final seconds, even if we keep it close.
Yeah. And you mentioned that layoff. Home against the Titans before going to London, then a bye after London before going to the West Coast. I think the NFL schedule set us up pretty nicely there as far as not having to put our players in any unnecessary stress or preparation. So time and preparation is not going to be an excuse for Jacksonville in any of these games. I take a loss there against Seattle, 3-4 after week 8. And we are at home versus the Buffalo Bills. I believe the last time Buffalo played in Jacksonville, it was a beautiful AFC wildcard victory by the Jacksonville James O'Shaughnessy's, leading us with the only touchdown in the game in a defensive struggle. Jacksonville 10, Buffalo 3. Jacob, what do you think here in 2021?
Well, that team that we beat, completely different now. This team went 13-3. Josh Allen looked like an MVP caliber player. The defense is good. Yeah, we're playing at home, but I think there's no logical explanation for us to predict a win. If they win, that's amazing, but I would never predict a win against a team like this with a rookie quarterback and a college head coach.
That's great. Yeah, no logical way to predict a win. Maybe I need some more Bush Light or High Noon to maybe talk some sense into myself. I'm thinking
yes. Will we win? Don't predict it, because then you're being crazy.
Yeah, and I'd like to think we're realistic for the most part on this podcast. I feel like realism is a staple of what we do. And I feel like this has been pretty realistic so far. I think the Bills Realistically, they're going to be up there with the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Titans and maybe even the Dolphins when it's all said and done. That'll be a fun divisional race to watch between the Bills and the Dolphins. Matt, what do you say there? At Seahawks versus Bills at home, those two games for the young Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I think you guys put realistic right to the noggin right there. I've seen DK Metcalf. He'll probably have a big game. If y'all saw his race the other day, it was a 10.36 and a 100-yard meter, which is absolutely insane competing with those kind of guys. I think that's scary to see going into the season. And Buffalo, with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, that might be a nightmare for that Jags defense. So hopefully I won't be taking too many fireball shots going into the game for that.
Oh God,
we need them for that.
We need
That's
them.
when we need them the most.
I know it'll all come out the way we don't want it to. Just from throwing up watching the game. That might actually be Wilson to Metcalf, Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs. That might be the best. Oh, I guess Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins is another one. But best quarterback wide receiver duo. We're facing them back to back, at least top 3 on the schedule. So we got a loss there. We're at 3-5 right now.